I hate this freaking shit. It's better with a car. I can steer, I can brake, I can accelerate whenever I want. This is just ridiculous. My knee is so messed up, so now I have to walk down. I've been doing it from all the way up there. God damn it. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So this video is mostly intended for those of you who plan to daily your car all year around and wonder potentially how the car might be to drive during winter time. So I've been driving my car now for, I don't know, it's almost 3,000 miles during winter period here in Sweden. So our winters can be quite harsh. Today is a lovely day, so it's sunny, but it's still cold. I think it's only 0 degrees Celsius. So we have had some rain yesterday night, and it has frozen, so the conditions are a bit tricky, which is more or less this kind of way at least 2-3 times a week during my daily commute. So this video is then intended then to talk about my experience with the car during winter period, and if I have seen any real issues of doing so, and if I recommend it to you or not, which I do. Anyhow, so to start off, it's really fun to drive it during the winter period. I mean, you can go on sliding about more or less all the time, anywhere, any place. But with that said, as some journalists, car journalists and reviewers tend to say, it will bite your head off if you're not careful. Let's see if I can make this a little bit better. It snaps. For those of you who are familiar with the Mustang and so on and have big power or been driving it in the wet and so on, you know that the rear end can snap quite easily, or you can get the tail out quite easily as well, and that more or less amplifies a bit during the winter period. But if you drive with what you have inside of the little knob up there, there are no issues as such, at least from my opinion of what I have been experiencing. I've been driving it on icy roads, snowy roads, wet and so on. I'm driving the car with Nokian Hakkapeliitta R2, which are a so-called Nordic friction tire, meaning they are adapted for the Nordic environment. So they're a bit softer than what's called the Central European counterparts, and those usually also come in wider sections. So I have 255 40, I believe it is, or 45. I'll put a text exactly the profile, I can't remember now. 250 section all around, non-studded tires then. There are studded tires available as well, but in my opinion that would kill the drivability and the experience in total. So therefore I opted to go for a non-studded version then. I'll post a video on the grip levels right now. Have a look and see what you think. As you saw from that clip, the grip is not spectacular, to say the least. The traction control light was blinking up until almost 100 miles per hour. That was driven on normal mode, the transmission in S mode, so not giving even full power, or what we're gonna call it. Also, one thing I would like to touch upon are the driving modes. 99% of the time I'm driving in normal mode without any issues at all. It will allow slippage, and if you step on it too much, it will let loose a bit too much, and sometimes you can actually get really sideways if you're not cautious. The snow and wet mode actually works. It cuts the power when it senses the wheels are slipping. So in really bad conditions, if it's really icy and you don't have studded tires, I would think that would be an appropriate setting to use. But I haven't had the need to use that setting up until now, at least. So that's also something to consider. If you drive it in track mode or drive it with advanced track off and it's icy, then either you're stuck, you can't get an inch forward, or it just will spin around if you're not careful enough then. So from that perspective, I mean, okay, you don't have a lots of grip, but on a base Mustang 2018, I think it's 235 section tires, and up until the 275s, which you have on the Performance Pack 1 and the 305s on the PP2. But if you compare this to you guys who are driving around with the 335s or 235s or 255s, I don't know how you're driving the car. From a grip perspective, thumbs up to you guys. With these tires I can feel it, but I mean, these are way softer than regular summer tires, so that actually has an impact as well. But again then, for you who are considering to drive it during winter time, there might be other aspects which you need to consider and see if it's worth it to you. One being, for sure there will be more how should I say, wear and tear on the car as you have salt, etc. So one thing, in my opinion, which is important then, is to actually take care of the car, meaning cleaning it frequently, rinsing it off frequently because of the road salts, extra dust, etc. So if you do that frequently, there is no issue as such to worry about, I would think. Also, one thing to consider when talking about protecting your car during winter driving, and also of course for the summer period as well, is to apply some sort of a coating to your paint, being it ceramic coating or wax or other type of sealant. I would strongly recommend that because it makes keeping the car clean and in shape much easier for you. So that's a general recommendation. I have ceramic coating on my car, and it makes my life much easier keeping the car clean. And these type of coatings can also be then applied to your paint protection film to give that extra oomph. And also one thing I need to mention is at least the Swedish cars get an extra undercarriage treatment for rust protection. So if you look under the car of a Swedish version, it all has a black, greasy or sticky layer of protection on it, so you don't see any bare metal more or less anywhere. All the bolts, everything. When they had done this to my car, even some parts of the springs had been sprayed, some parts of the barrels in the rims, which was a pain in the ass to remove. I haven't been able to do that fully yet. So again, so we have some extra protection on our cars here in Sweden, at least to prevent it from rusting, etc. That's also one thing maybe to consider then. I'm not sure overseas and overboard, etc. in other countries, if you have these type of services which you can get as an aftermarket application, so to speak. It would be recommended, in my opinion, to have that, because more or less all cars imported to Sweden have this type of extra protection on them. So that's that. So I mean, if you want to drive your car during winter period, there is no problem. I promise you that. We have as bad as conditions you can get, more or less, in Sweden, and it's been working fine as long as you drive with what you have inside here. There are no issues. So let me know what you think, how you've been thinking regarding driving your car all year around, driving it in winter period. Maybe you think I'm an idiot driving it in winter period, or maybe you just think it's a Ford. I mean, it's not a Lambo or a Ferrari, which potentially could, yeah, I don't want to go there. But anyhow, another thing maybe that could potentially have an impact is the residual value, if people get freaked out that you've been driving it during winter period. But I don't care about that. I want to use my car. I've paid for it, so, or I am paying for it, so I don't bother about that. So anyhow, let me know what you think on the comments below. Are you planning to drive your car again then during winter period? Or do you have any questions you want me to answer, if you have any of that? So let me know. Thumbs up. Until the next time. See ya.